welcome to the very first episode of Creating with Keisha. Welcome to my world of creating. So the first thing that we're going to do on this episode is we're going to do a Valentine's Day pudding cookie. It sounds very weird if you've never had a pudding cookie before. If you have had one or made one, it will completely bless your life, I promise. So this recipe is actually pretty cool because you can do this not just for Valentine's Day, but you can do it honestly for any holiday. So the last time I did this was actually for the 4th of July. And as you see, for Valentine's Day, I obviously have red, pink, and white M&Ms and little like sprinkles and jimmies. But for any other holiday, if you want to do it for 4th of July, you can obviously change it to red, white, and blue. If you want to do it for St. Patty's Day, you can obviously make it green. So this is a very fun, versatile recipe that can go for several different holidays, not just Valentine's Day. But I think this will be a cute little thing to do if you want to make it for your kids' school on Valentine's Day. You can just simply make it as a nice little treat for your significant other, just for the house, whatever you're going to do. It's a very yummy, chewy cookie. So first thing we're going to do, or if you didn't do it already, you want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. Preheating is always important because after everything's already ready and combined, you want to be able to just pop your cookies right in the oven. The next thing we're going to do is, in my first bowl, we already have one of the main dry ingredients, which is 1.25 cups of flour, all-purpose flour. It doesn't have to be anything super fancy. That's already in this bowl. And after that, we're then going to add in 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. Because I'm already using salted butter, I'm actually only going to use one little pinch of salt. So it doesn't have to be measured. If you use salted butter, that's going to take care of a majority of the salted flavor. But I'm going to just sprinkle in, I'll say, a couple little pinches of salt, but a very small amount. And the rest of it I'm just going to dump. So after those are mixed in, of course, the main ingredient that comes next is the pudding. So this is just one box of vanilla cook and serve Jello pudding. So once you crack this open, you can add it in. Like I said, the first time that I actually had this was for Valentine's, sorry, for 4th of July. And it was just me experimenting, trying it, something different. And after I tried it, I was like, oh my gosh, I love this cookie. It's extremely chewy, and I feel like most people like a nice soft chewy cookie. So it's pretty fun. So once you get all of your dry ingredients worked together, you want to whisk it together, but if you don't have a whisk, you can just use a fork. And you want to whisk it together until it's all worked through, especially most importantly the baking soda. You're going to try to make sure that that's whisked through the entire bowl. And sometimes when I'm whisking, you can actually turn the bowl, so that way your hand doesn't have to do as much work. After you're done with the dry ingredients, you can just put them to the side really quickly. The next thing we're going to do are our wet ingredients. So this recipe calls for 1/2 cup of butter, which is just 1 stick. One of the most important things that you want to take into consideration when making any cookie, unless it tells you otherwise, is to make sure that your butter is softened to room temperature. I'm really not a fan. I'm sure some people will do it, but I think that it messes with the consistency and texture of the cookie. If you were to microwave the stick of butter, all you want to do, let it sit out on the counter for a few hours and let it soften. That's the easiest way to get the best flavor and consistency. Next is 3/4 cups of brown sugar. And then a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then 1 egg. And then those are all your ingredients. So after that, you're simply just going to turn your mixer on and mix. Alright, so don't worry at all if you do not have a mixer. You can obviously just use a handheld mixer, or honestly just mix it with your hand. But if you do have one, then I'm sure you know how much of a lifesaver this thing is. So we're going to cream together our wet ingredients, and I always put it on the lowest speed control. If you don't have a mixer like this where you can use this type of paddle and spatula, you just want to make sure that you're being very conscious of how creamy it is. You want to make sure that everything's worked together thoroughly, but not being overly worked, if that makes sense. So I'll probably let it go for another 10 or 15 seconds. I'm actually going to turn it up one more notch. Okay, perfect. So even though that little piece is still not fully mixed in, it'll all combine together once you add in your dry ingredients. Okay, so I like to do my mixing of the dry ingredients in little installments. Just to make sure that you're not trying to dump a whole lot of flour and the dry ingredients in there, and then when you turn on the mixer, you'll get a nice little surprise right in your face. Trust me, I've had it happen before. So just do it in little batches. You can use your spatula to help ease them in there. And then once you get a good amount, I'll probably just leave this on and keep doing the same exact thing and easing it in as it works through with the wet ingredients. Like I said, same exact rules apply, even if you're mixing it by hand or if you're using a handheld mixer. So once this is fully all mixed and creamed together, you shouldn't see any more flour. And I'll actually just really quick get the top of that little guy right there. And over here, just make sure it's all mixed in and work thoroughly together. All right, so once you're all finished with the mixer, I personally, and you actually could probably use the mixer to do the next step, which is adding in your M&Ms and sprinkles. But I just like to do it by hand just because I feel like the mixer sometimes can be a little bit rough, I would say, so that way you don't have a lot of broken M&M pieces in your dough. So getting all of the dough that I can. If you have someone in your house who's a fan of taking the dough and eating it off of this, you are in good shape because then you don't have to clean it off. So take this off, and we are gonna mix in. If you love a lot of M&Ms, you can probably just use the whole bag. This is obviously the Valentine's Day edition with lots of pinks and whites and red M&Ms, but the recipe specifically usually calls for 3/4 of a cup. So I'm going to dump this guy in. Same thing, like I like to do everything else. I'm gonna do it in a couple different steps. So I'll do about half of that now. And then these are just some fun sprinkles. I got these actually from Walmart. So let me see what those look like. Come with come with pink and blue, different types of sprinkles. So same thing, I'm gonna add about half of that in there. And I'm going to take the spatula out and use a bigger spoon to combine everything with. And you just want to gently fold all of your sprinkles and M&Ms together. You want to scrape from the bottom as much as possible because that's where all of the empty space is going to be. If you don't, you'll have some cookies without M&Ms or sprinkles. So you want to make sure you get it worked through as best as you can. Like I said, you could probably use the mixer for this, but sometimes if the mixer is a little bit too rough, you may have a lot of broken M&M pieces. So I'll just keep the spoon in this little corner, and then I'll add the rest of the M&Ms in there. And the rest of my sprinkles. And like I said, just mixing and working it all together. And it's even starting to look very, very pretty and colorful, which is a nice, fun little treat for Valentine's Day. Something different. Of course, you can do your favorite cookie or the person's favorite cookie that you're giving it to, but I just think that this is something a little bit more to the theme of Valentine's Day. Alright, so everything is pretty much worked together. And the one important thing with this recipe specifically, because of the pudding, but actually that I do with all of my other cookies too, is you want to make sure that you give some time for it to chill. So I'm gonna just put some saran wrap over the top of this bowl. If this was something that I was making in advance, I would actually scoop all of the dough out and physically put it into the saran wrap. And then that way you can have like a little dough ball and you can put it into the fridge if you're gonna make it in the next couple days, or you can actually freeze it for weeks and weeks, which is really nice to have on hand. So put this in the fridge, and if you're pressed for time, you want to at least give it an hour for it to chill, and it'll make a difference when we get to the step when we're putting it in the oven. So put some saran wrap in this, put this in the fridge for an hour, and then we get to the next step. Alright, so after your hour has passed, you can take your dough. You want to use a tablespoon. It doesn't have to be a measuring tablespoon, it could be a normal kitchen tablespoon. The important part of, like I said, having the dough chill is so that you can form the balls into dough. Sorry, the dough into balls a little bit more. And you want to take about 2 tablespoons of dough and form them into balls. And you're going to do that, space them out evenly on the cookie sheet. You don't have to spray anything on the cookie sheet when you're making cookies because obviously there's a ton of butter in it, so it will not stick to the pan. I'm going to just kind of play around with shaping them into balls so that way you can have nice rounded cookies when it comes out. So if you can imagine not having this dough chilled, you would have a ton of sticky, icky dough on your hands. So it's very, very important, and it also helps with the baking process when it's chilled as well, so that way it doesn't bake too quickly and your cookies can come out to perfection. Depending on the size of your cookie sheet, I like to do them in some type of order, so I'll probably do a row of 4 by 4. Alright, so after you're finished forming all of your cookies, you are good to pop it right in the oven. It will be set to 350 just like how we did in the beginning. And you want to make sure that your rack is in the very, very center of your oven. And we're going to leave it in here for 9 to 11 minutes. When I set a timer, I always do it for the shortest amount of time. That way you can judge if you need it to be in there a little bit longer or not. But we're going to start off at least 9 minutes. Alright, so for this oven, 9 minutes definitely worked out perfect. So I'm going to take them out and show you guys what they look like. You don't want them to sit in the oven and get brown too long. You're going to actually leave it on the cookie sheet for probably another 30 seconds to a minute. So they'll stay on here a little bit longer, and then as it stays on here, it will continue to bake a little bit more. So that's why you want to take them out the oven. And I would highly recommend investing in a cookie rack. So cookie rack, or it also could be called a cooling sheet. And we'll transfer the cookies right about now on there with our spatula so that they can cool. And if you were to leave them on the cookie sheet, they would just keep baking and baking, and that is how people end up having hard cookies. So that is a little trick. As soon as it's finished on the cookie sheet, take them directly off. And you have your nice pretty pink and white and red Valentine's Day cookies. One thing that's a little trick too, if your dough would have sat in the refrigerator a little bit longer, you probably would have been able to form them into, I would say, round balls that are a little bit more perfect, because as you can see, they came out, some of them came out pretty round, some of them came out a little oblong with the M&Ms kind of poking out, but at the end of the day, the taste is going to be what's most important. So you can make a nice little presentation. If you have a plate, you can box them up if you want. Like I said, if you're gonna use them for gifts, however you want to decorate them. But they came out so nice and pretty. And what's most important is the taste. So. What's the best part is when you bite into the M&M and it still has that little crunch to it. So they came out to perfection. And the good thing is they stay nice and chewy. As long as you put them in a cookie jar, wrap them up some kind of way, they'll stay chewy for at least a few days. But these are your Valentine's Day pudding cookies. And I hope you guys have fun, enjoy them, and thank you for creating with me. See you guys next time. Of course! Here you go.
Thank you.
Mm.